What's up, guys? It's Jason here, and welcome to my YouTube channel, Company Insight. It's a fact, relocating isn't easy. You'll have to leave your friends behind, bid farewell to your favorite cafes, and go through hours of boxing and wrapping stuff in bubble wrap. But each year, millions of Americans relocate to somewhere else within the country for different reasons, and 2020 offered Americans the most important reason to leave: COVID. Many individuals moved away from highly infected areas or left urban communities since they lost their jobs. Others moved in search of a place where the cost of living is lower. And many people took this chance to move somewhere permanently that they've been thinking about for a long time. In this video, I'll run you through the top 15 moved out states in 2021. By the end, you'll know which states residents are leaving and which states to give second thoughts before moving to. This is important as it's a general rule of thumb that it's better to be somewhere that the rising tide lifts all boats. But first, I need a quick favor from you. If you wouldn't mind just smashing that like button for the YouTube algorithm, it would help me out a ton. The more engagement a video like this gets, the more likely the YouTube algorithm is to push it out to more people to enjoy. And as this is a brand new channel I started this year, it helps me out a ton, and it's free to do. If you enjoy videos like this, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for new videos each week. Thanks for doing that, and now let us continue on with the most moved out states in 2021. Each year, United Van Lines, the largest moving company in the entire US, releases information on the number of individuals leaving and joining each state. In their 2021 report, work was top of the list among factors that motivated individuals to leave, with 40% of those moving doing so to seek better employment opportunities. However, in a year tinted by COVID, countless moves were persuaded by family. In fact, in 2020, more than 1 of every 4 Americans migrated so that they can be closer to their family members. Wow, I've never seen that happen before for that reason. While individuals move for different reasons, most moves are motivated by the opportunity to enjoy a better life. For some people, that may be favorable weather or a flourishing social scene. Nonetheless, states with well-structured employment markets and favorable taxes attract residents like bees to honey, or workers to good pay. For states themselves, interstate movement is serious business. The more people there are, the more taxes the state collect, and big population increases result in more political power later on. So, without further ado, here are the states Americans are fleeing the quickest outbound, as well as some of the factors that could have motivated them in doing so. We'll start from the bottom up. Number 15 most moved out state, Mississippi. Outbound moves, 52%. Coming in at number 15 is Mississippi. Mississippi is notoriously laid back and takes life slowly. Coupled with a high unemployment rate, it's easy to see why they're ranked number 15 on the list of most moved out states in America. Over 71% of the outbound move is tied to high unemployment. Other factors responsible for leaving are family and retirement. Although the minimum wage is above average for most non-factory jobs, worker benefits are poor, forcing residents to travel out of state for better job offers. Number 14 most moved out state, Louisiana. Outbound moves, 53%. Louisiana has one of the highest poverty and unemployment rates in the country. In November 2020, the state had the 4th highest unemployment rate at 8.3%. Little wonder, 73% of those leaving are doing so in search of a better life. The Mardi Gras and Cajun cuisines attract tourists yearly. Still, most people in Louisiana are not celebrating because an average of 1 out of every 5 people lives below the poverty line. Number 13 most moved out state, Virginia. Outbound moves, 53%. Coming in at number 13, Virginia isn't as attractive as it used to be in the past. Coupled with low population growth, the state is no longer the old Dominion state it used to be. The state's population growth rate has slowed, and thousands of Virginians depart each year to explore other states for better opportunities. Family, retirement, and jobs are the top 3 reasons for the outbound move. Over 55% of people leaving the state are 55 years or older, making retirement a top factor of the outbound movement. Less than 10% of those leaving were between 15 and 35 years old. Number 12 most moved out state, Indiana. Outbound moves, 53%. According to the Missouri Economic Research and Information Center, also known as MERIC, Indiana is one of the most beautiful and affordable places to live. Its housing cost is one of the lowest in the country. However, the unemployment rate is below the national average, making Indianans move to other states in search of better paying jobs. An average worker there only earns $7.25 per hour, which is well below the national benchmark. The second reason for the high outbound movement is retirement. Indiana isn't tax-friendly for retirees. When compared to other states, there are less tax breaks for elders. Although the state is affordable, the lower cost of living attracts only lower pay, which means even if you save a particular percentage of your salary, your savings still wouldn't be as high as it is on the national scale. Number 11 most moved out state, Pennsylvania. Sadly, things are not what they used to be in Pennsylvania. The state moved 7 spots from last year. The major reason for the outbound movement is employment. The state has lost thousands of manufacturing jobs over the last decade. Although dirt cheap taxes are advantageous, like no taxes on clothing, the state lacks proper public upkeep that has made the state undesirable. Number 10 most moved out state, Maryland. Outbound moves 55%. Breaking into the top 10 is Maryland. Although Maryland is known for its delicious blue crabs, be sure to check out Phillips Seafood, by the way. It has continued to climb high on the outbound chart. Maryland moved 10 spots from its previous position. The high jump is due to jobs and retirement. More than half of the people moving out of the state are over 55 years old. Housing is also very expensive. Another major contributing factor to the outward movement is the cost of living. The state is ranked the 7th most expensive state by Merrick, and the cost of housing is also above the nation's average. To get the most out of your living in Maryland, you would have to resort to living far out in the suburbs and commute hours to work in the city. You know what doesn't take hours to do? Clicking that like button and subscribing. If you already did that, you're a boss. What state do you live in? Probably not Maryland. Number 9 most moved out state, Ohio. Outbound moves 56%. Ohio has an unemployment problem coupled with low wages. Both unemployment and wages in Ohio are below the national average. Besides, the weather isn't nice. The spring is short and the weather is always too cold or too hot. It's clear to the blind why 56% of Ohioans are leaving in search of better opportunities and good weather in large numbers. Sadly, the song Cleveland Rocks from The Drew Carey Show might not be as relevant as the good old days.
Cleveland rocks! Cleveland rocks! Cleveland rocks! Cleveland rocks!
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Number 8 most moved out state, Massachusetts. Outbound moves 57%. At number 8, Massachusetts is home to Harvard, the Mayflower, and the Boston Tea Party. However, the cost of living in the state is expensive. The fact that union laws and the requirement for developers to give away a certain number of units in their apartments before they can be granted permission to build has made construction extremely expensive. The need to pay a premium for basic housing and the lack of housing to satisfy the increasing population has greatly contributed to the 56% outbound movement. Number 7 most moved out state, North Dakota. Outbound moves 57%. North Dakota is regarded as a boring state. No wonder its wide open spaces feel even more empty these days. North Dakota was among the top 10 states with the lowest unemployment rate in America in 2020. That tells you unemployment isn't high. Naturally, that also makes you wonder why 57% of its residents are moving out of state in search of a job. Although there are jobs in North Dakota, it's just what most of the jobs available are not what the residents want. The lack of good public transport, seafood, and rich diversity could account for the massive outbound movement. Number 6 most moved out state, Kansas. Outbound moves 59%. Kansas is rich in culture, and the state is known to shield its residents from the outside world. According to Merrick 2020 data, Kansas has the 4th lowest cost of living in America. However, you probably wouldn't reach your earnings potential in Kansas because wages are low. Generally, life is slow-paced in Kansas, and the city provides a perfect safety bubble for its residents. But sentiments aren't keeping young people in Kansas, as close to half of the outbound movement is motivated by the desire for better employment opportunities. Number 5 most moved out state, California. Outbound moves 59%. Breaking in the top 5 is the home of Silicon Valley. Although California was new to the top 10 outbound state list, it experiences enough outward movement at 59% to hold down the 5th position. The lack of employment opportunities was a major reason for leaving the Golden State. Even though Silicon Valley and Hollywood was a bigger reason for tech guys and aspiring actors to come, the city's appeal comes with a price tag. According to Merrick's list, the Golden State is now the most expensive state to live in America after DC and Hawaii. The rent, mortgage prices, and gas prices are way above the national average. In addition, constant devastating fire outbreaks and the lack of insurance coverage for houses involved in these outbreaks have greatly decreased the desire for the state. Number 4 most moved out state, Connecticut. Outbound moves 64%. In at number 4, Connecticut is known for its seaside appeal and lobster shacks. However, Merrick reveals that housing and utilities are expensive. People in Connecticut are losing a big chunk of their paycheck to the high cost of living. Like many of the states in the Northeast, Connecticut's decentralized administration has further increased the income and sales tax paid by its residents. In addition to the high cost of living and increased taxes, Connecticut isn't making policies that encourage its retirees to stay behind. Over 30% of the people who left Connecticut desire to retire in another state. That's definitely not a good sign. This reason competes with leaving to find a better job as the top 2 reasons for the outbound movement. Number 3 most moved out state, Illinois. Outbound moves 66%. Number 3 is down by a spot from the previous year's ranking. Illinois is known for its expansive farmland, but this vast land hasn't revitalized the state economy. Prior to the pandemic, many Illinoisans were already unhappy with the economy. Last year, Illinois residents protested against legislation meant to raise the state income tax. Although the state government supports the local public schools and community colleges, Illinoisans are worried about paying more income and property taxes. While many say the cold winters and humid summers are the reason people are leaving, the truth is most are leaving the state for better job opportunities. Sadly, the biggest group leaving were working-age people, which leaves the future as gloomy as the weather. Number 2 most moved out state, New York. Outbound moves 67%. Number 2 is the city that never sleeps. New York is the most popular city in America, but housing and rent are outrageous. In Manhattan, rent can cost as much as $5,000 per month, and an average house can be sold for over $1.6 million. According to Merrick, the cost of living in New York is ranked 5th in the nation. Before the 2000s, New York was a desirable place to live. However, things started becoming expensive. The cost of living went through the roof. Property and income taxes also went up. These increases have left the new generation of New Yorkers to seek better and more flexible alternatives elsewhere. If you haven't seen already, check out my video, The Mass Exodus of New York City. It explains everything that's going on there. Now moving on to number 1. Drum roll, please.
Drum roll, please.
The number 1 most moved out state, New Jersey. Outbound moves 70%. And the winner of the most moved out state goes to New Jersey. What do you mean my New Jersey accent isn't good? Hey, I'm walking here. New Jersey retains the top spot for the 3rd consecutive year. For over 10 years, New Jersey has been in the top 10 most move-out states on the United Van Lines report. Although retirement and the desire to be with family accounted for more than a quarter of the outbound moves, it was 2 of the top reasons people moved in 2020. Taxes, auto insurance, tolls, and living costs are extremely high in New Jersey and could also be a major factor for the outbound movement. I mean, come on, the sales tax of over 6% is ridiculous. New Jersey also has some of the highest taxes in America, and the cost of living in the city is equally as high. School districts are controlled by the municipalities, and if you want your kids to get a good education, you would have to pay extra to get them there. Besides, be prepared to pay huge property taxes if you desire to live in a desirable area. According to the state government, New Jersey homeowners paid an average property tax bill of $9,000 a month last year. And exactly who has that much money lying around? And that brings us to today. There you have it, the top 15 most moved out states in 2021. To summarize, people are fleeing the Northeast, New Jersey, New York, Illinois, and Connecticut the most, with the states accounting for over 60% of outbound moves. Millions of Americans moved elsewhere for different reasons, including better jobs, family, and retirement. Finally, although there was a huge pandemic happening, Americans relocated at rates comparable to previous years. So with that said, thank you so much for watching my video. There was a significant amount of research and production that went into making this video possible. As this is a brand new YouTube channel I just started this year, if you enjoy videos like this, please subscribe and click the notification bell. The more subscribers we get, the better and the more content I can continue making. Do you live in any of the states mentioned? If you still live there, please don't hate us. Have you heard firsthand or seen people moving out of the states? Be sure to check out some of my other videos like the rise and fall of New York, and for foodies, how did In-N-Out get so popular? As always, stay happy and healthy and stay tuned for another episode of Company Insight next week.